Welcome to Deep Travel Morocco. This slideshow will help you visualize the trip and make travel arrangements. But before getting into the details, the first thing to know is that this isn't a sightseeing tour. While we will encounter many of this country's famous attractions, the goal of this 9-day journey is to have a cultural exchange. Under the guidance of storytelling teachers from both the US and Morocco, we will craft and share our own stories. By the end of this trip, we will be well on our way to becoming modern-day halakas, or storytellers. Why practice storytelling in Morocco? A quick background. Morocco's storytelling tradition goes back over 1,000 years, but in this age of internet, movies, and television, this more subtle art has been dying out. And in the words of Ahmed Ezergani, when a storyteller dies, a library burns. Richard Burton translated many of Morocco's traditional tales in a book of 1,000 Nights and a Night. But if wading through Burton's giant tome feels a bit overwhelming, read Tahir Shah's more user-friendly In Arabian Nights. The narrative follows Shah's personal quest to find the story in his heart. It also gives a great overview of the role of storytelling in Morocco. By collaborating with the old Moroccan storytellers and their English-speaking apprentices, our group will become part of an overall effort to keep this great tradition alive. My name is Christina Ammon, and I will be on hand throughout the journey to help you with whatever you need. I've spent many months exploring Morocco. During that time, I researched the country's wine industry and penned a feature story for the San Francisco Chronicle. I've also researched and written about the restoration of the Fez Medina for Condé Nast and the Oregonian. This will be my third time leading a tour in Morocco. Okay, on to the logistics. When you arrive in Marrakesh, our transport team will pick you up from the airport and bring you to the riad. There you can relax on the terrace and catch your breath with a bit of Moroccan mint welcome tea. A riad is a traditional Moroccan house with a garden courtyard at the center. In the past decades, many riads have been converted into guest houses for travelers. The rooms vary widely in shape and in size. This is definitely not Motel 6. Next, you'll settle into your comfortable room. We will stay at the riad for dinner on the first night. Our group facilitator, Dot Fisher-Smith, will begin our introductions. Dot is a writer, artist, counselor, community elder, group facilitator, conservationist, and longtime social activist for peace and justice. She has been a student and practitioner of Soto Zen Buddhism for over 35 years and has been a journal writer since 1968. A mystical, masterful artist in presence, Dot is the subject of the documentary An Ordinary Life. After dinner, we'll take a stroll through the main square, Dia Ma Elfna, which comes alive at night, with lights and sounds, sights and aromas. We can heed the advice of Tahir Shah. Close your eyes and let the city touch your senses, and you begin to appreciate that Marrakesh today is what it has always been, a crucible for all that is exotic. After a good night's sleep, we will wake up, have breakfast, and enjoy a short session with our storytelling teacher, Jay Golden. When it comes to finding the story in your heart, he is an excellent guide with many years of experience as a storytelling coach. He co-founded a creative agency called Waking Star, and today crafts stories and coaches leaders at some of the best companies in the world. He helps groups build culture and recognize the power of their own shared journeys. There are two kinds of stories, writes Jay, the kind that send your audience to sleep and the kind that wakes them up. After lunch, we will set off to explore the Medina independently. You'll encounter many of Morocco's traditional art forms, including hand-chiseled tiles known as zélige. That evening, we will head to Café Clock for dinner. Café Clock is a cross-cultural cafe with a diverse menu that includes falafel, pumpkin bizarra, grilled chicken, and even camel burgers. The cafe is the creation of Mike Richardson, the former maitre d' of the Wolsey and the Ivy in London. His goal was to create a place where travelers and locals can mingle and learn together. After dinner, we will see the storytellers in action. The tales will be translated by English-speaking apprentices, but are delivered so well that they are entertaining even in Arabic. The next morning we will board a van and set off for Morocco's holiest city, Moulay Idris, We will make several stops along the way. Sampling olive oil, eating traditional tagine and stretching our legs. We will arrive in Moulay Idris in the late afternoon. This small village spans 2 distinctive hilltops and is much more peaceful and navigable than Marrakesh. It is surrounded by olive groves, hiking trails, even a Roman bath, a proper retreat town. A donkey will transport your luggage up the short hill to where we are staying at Dar Zerhoun. We will have a bit of downtime. Later, weather permitting, we will settle in on the terrace and enjoy some of Dar Zerhoun's amazing food. In the evenings, we will be entertained by talented storytellers such as Sandy McCutcheon. Sandy is a prolific author, playwright, and former radio host from New Zealand. He is currently co-editor of Fez's most prominent news website for travelers, known as The View from Fez. We will also be joined by our Moroccan photographer and friend Omar Chinafi. Omar is the photographer for the Ministry of Tourism, and his work has appeared in several publications, including Time magazine. Morocco is an extremely photogenic country, with aesthetic opportunities everywhere. One evening, Omar took my camera and captured this image of babouche slippers on an old Zalige floor. He will be snapping photos of our group throughout the week. Afternoons in Moulay Idris will be a bit more free-form. You can take hikes, tour olive groves, and visit the nearby historic city of Meknes, the former capital of Morocco. Each evening we will have dinner together and enjoy performances by the Moroccan storytellers. For one of our lunches, we will be picnicking among the 2,000-year-old Roman ruins of Volubilis. This is just 2 miles from where we are staying at Dar Zerhoun. There are many well-preserved tile mosaics. The mosaics depict mythic stories, which the guides can familiarize us with. We will have plenty of time on our own for independent reflections, and perhaps a bit of writing and sketching. On our last trip to Morocco, we had a spontaneous poetry reading at Volubilis. When hunger strikes, we'll settle in for a fabulous lunch prepared by Dar Zerhoun. One afternoon, we'll take a vineyard tour and learn about Morocco's surprisingly robust wine industry. We will learn about how wine does and doesn't fit into a Muslim country. We may even purchase a bottle or two to take back to Dar Zerhoun. On our last evening in Moulay Idris, we will join Mike Richardson again for an incredible dinner at his hilltop restaurant, Dar Akrab, or the Scorpion House. From this terrace, we will enjoy staggering views of Moulay Idris and then have dinner. Richardson inspires his Moroccan kitchen staff to make delicious traditional meals by saying, "Make it how your mom made it." We will return to Marrakesh the next day by train. Train travel is a relaxing way to go in Morocco and will allow you some time to work on your stories. Our trip will end where it started, at Café Clock. By now we hope you will have a story to share with the group. There may even be some music. You never know. If you have time after the workshop, perhaps you will be inspired to take further adventures in Morocco. We can make some suggestions if you like. The total trip cost is $2,850 with a deposit of $550 required to hold your spot. This payment includes in-country transport, lodging, instruction, and most meals. Airfare is not included. For more information on registering, contact me at christinaammonwriter@gmail.com or call 541-621-9357. For the best airfare deals, we recommend travel agent Sigal Keenan at 818-789-0224. Life is a story. Find yours. Tell it. Hope to see you there.